Okay, so this is a video for precision import repair in Kearney, Nebraska, and I'm here to show Star Diagnostic C3 scanner connected to the vehicle 1995 S600. I have some modules here, some Egas modules from V12s. They're all V12 modules. Okay, I have a cell module here and 3 S-class modules. One SL module that is not good. I know this one is bad. Okay, and another bad module. That is the one that we're testing right now. I just want to show you the good module and the bad module. Well, first of all, in terms of programming, there is no programming. This is the main menu. Okay, now we go to gasoline engine. Throttle actuator, Egas module would have been under EFP, idle speed control, ISC, and tempomat. That's cruise control, whatever that thing is. So we go into the menu, next menu, to connect to the module. Ignition is on, everything's connected. So you're going to see the actual menu. So functions we have, these are the only functions that we have. We have control unit version, fault memory, actual values of potentiometers, and element actuations. Now the actuation of the elements, like throttle body, clutches and stuff like that, move throttle valves and so on, fuel safety, fuel shut off. So that's not it, and that's the end of it. There is no programming on any kind of adaptations, nothing. So the only thing what we can do is we can see the control module, the number, we have production date, software, hardware, and obviously supplier. So that's it. Nothing to look here. So second thing is what I want to show you, fault memory. Fault memory is what's stored in this particular module that's currently in the vehicle. So no faults stored. This is a good working module. I know it's good working module, and we have no faults stored. Let's go back to main menu, and I'm going to swap the modules. Before doing that, I'm going to shut down the ignition, of course. Ignition is off. I'm going to put in another module. Let's see. I'm going to put another module. The bad one. Okay, so let's put in a bad module. Then I'm gonna put another good module so you can see the difference. Okay. Now you want to obviously be sure that the module is seated all the way. Let's put on the ignition. Let's put on the ignition. Ignition is on. So when ignition is on, now we're gonna see, as you can see, it picked up difference in modules. As a matter of fact, that's interesting. This is my module, the one I just pulled out, previous MB number. As you can see, the module was 7532, and that's what's on the case, 7532. Now the module I put in, it also has 7532 number on it, but internals are from 7432. So you see, this module itself has different internals. It's not 7532, it's 7432. So the internals are definitely swapped out completely. Now, whatever, that's fine. It'll still work. If the module would have been good, it would still work. 7432 is still applicable to this vehicle. Now, one code we got, control module N4/1. So that's obviously the code that comes in from this very module, that the module itself is bad. Now we're gonna try to clear the code and see what happens. And also you have to note that there are no noises from throttles. Both throttles are completely shut. They're not on at all. So that's not good. Now, let's get the ignition reset. This is all live testing. There is no, you know, I'm not doing any kind of editing over here. This is just to show what's happening. So, second set of codes is just the same exact thing. Control module N4/1, which is this Egas module. It is bad. Now, let's do this. Let me show you this. I'm gonna just erase this fault code, right? And then I'm going to put on another module. Remember, we had this one in. I'm going to put this one in. And then see what happens. Shut this down. And then we'll put on another module. Okay. Let's see what happens. So we have this module set aside. We put in a number 7532 again. That's another module actually. That's different. Now, what we should do, we should see the module numbers change. Ignition is on. Let's see what you see right away. The computer picked up. Previous module was 7432, the new module is 7532. Now, because module was removed, there could have been that some faults are stored. Let's go read faults. But throttles are working, they're nice, and they're humming pretty well, both activated. Now, no faults stored. This module is clean. There is nothing in this module. No codes in the module at all. Now, what I'm gonna do next is, alright, for the hell of it, let's put in another module. We have 7532, and now we have 8232. That's another module from S-Class. And then last one, we're going to put an SL module. You're gonna see with the SL module, it is not going to actually accept it. But throttles will still work. So, pull this out. I should have bought already a tool or something that I can use. Now, we put in 8232. Now, it's in. Let's put on the ignition. And now, right away, we see again computer picked up, different module installed, 8232. And let's go read faults of the module that I just put in. Okay, 2 codes for control module and no communication. Okay, let's clear those. Erase. So we're clearing these codes right now. Shut down the ignition. Just gonna wait. And then we're going to put ignition back on. Ignition is back on. And we're going to clear codes again. We're gonna read them. There we have it, no faults stored. So the module itself had some codes in it at some point, so once I clear it, we have no codes in it. So that's another module, one more time. I'm going to read that and clear it. So nothing to clear really. No faults stored, so we're good on this one. So this module is okay. This module is okay. This module is okay, but not the one that we have problems with. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you both 600 SLs, how computer doesn't accept these, but throttles do work. So let's just shut down the ignition first. Now, what I want to show you next is I want to show you a good working module, computer readout, and bad module. So this is a good working module. Alright, I'll put it in. And again, this is an S-Class. This is a 140 chassis. This is not even well, you'll see in a minute. Now, put on the ignition. One thing that you need to know, well, first thing is computer. You hear throttles. They still are active. Okay? Both throttles are on. Now, computer realized module swap. So, as you can see, there are different part numbers here. We go back. We're gonna try to do fault memory. And what you see is it does not let me get into it because it's not correct module for this vehicle. But both throttles are active and happy. Cruise control will not work. I did drive on this module. I know it works. To test it out, I drove this car, which is W140. I drove on Egas module that came from SL600. It works fine, no cruise control, but everything else is fine. So that's what we got. Going back in here, and we won't be able to communicate with the module. I cannot even clear codes of it. Just wait for a minute until it comes up to its senses. That's it. See, it shouldn't be installed. End of story. And then what I'm going to put in, I'm going to put in a bad Egas from SL600, okay, and I'm going to put bad Egas from S600. So you're going to see the same thing. Ignition is off. Good module removed. I also have to note that when we put in bad, both of these bad Egas modules, this one and this one, this is definitely bad module. When I put both modules in and when I turn the ignition on, I do hear both modules trying to activate throttles. Clutches click and that's the end of it, and right away throttles shut down. So obviously there's a problem in these two. It's okay. So let's put on the ignition again. Unfortunately, I won't be able to show you clutches activation because, you know, I have to be, actually I can maybe leave the camera here running and go in the car, turn on the ignition so you can actually hear them. You see complete silence. That's the bad Egas module that I just installed. It's the 600 SL Egas. So let's just wait for computer. Same story. Our W140 chassis does not accept R129 chassis control module. End of story. And lastly, we'll do the test like I said. I'll put the camera on the engine and you can actually hear what's happening when I put on ignition with bad module installed. Okay, first things first, we're going to read it, okay, and then I'm gonna do that last last test. Now, previous module, new module, 7432, even though the case says 7532, but internals are from 7432. And let's go read it. I mean, again, it will work. If it would have been not defective, then it would have worked in this car. But the code we have is control module. We're trying to clear it and it comes back on. Now, so this is the last thing I'm going to do. I'm going to go and put on the ignition. I'm going to put the camera right over here The throttle body is right here. See, hopefully you will hear the activation. Here we go. Okay, so I hope camera picked up that activation, and then complete silence right after that. Because normal Egas modules, they will keep throttles active, and this module is not working. Okay, so that's basically a lengthy video, but it explains Egas modules, programming differences, good modules, bad modules. So as you can clearly see now that none of these modules actually were reprogrammed. It's just exactly how they just laid in the box. That's it. So it's just clear. It's very clear that this module is defective, and the code always comes on as control module itself is defective. And again, you can compare codes with good Egas module. It would say no faults stored, and this one always gives the same exact fault for the module itself. There is no programming available. It's a plug and play module. All you gotta do is you plug the module in, turn the ignition, wait 30 seconds, let throttles find their stops, and that's it. It's the end of it. Because even with 129, see, my point here is that even with the SL600 module, once it's installed in the vehicle, I cannot physically reprogram it because I cannot access modules internals. As you saw the message I have on screen, cannot access internals of the module. So there is no possibility for me to reprogram all these modules and keep putting them in the car, showing that okay, everything works. There is no way. I have to have 600 SL, and only then I can get even to check codes of that module. But as you clearly saw, that the module itself, once I plugged it in, even though I cannot access it, it still activated throttles. So it still worked, but I couldn't access it. These are the only options that we have. What we can do, I'll show you this. I'll show you, well, actual values. That's really not that what we can even work with. It's just actual values. This is what computer sees. I don't know if it sees anything. Okay, yeah, it does see something. So it does have communication. See, all communication is coming. Let's see if it picks up the speed, RPMs and stuff. Okay, so it sees that the vehicle is on. Vehicle's off, not moving anywhere. And it does see something. My theory is that this module was installed with some throttle bodies that had some issues. But the throttle bodies I also have, and they work just fine. There's no issues with throttles. It's the actual control module that came from the car that had problem with throttle bodies. And that's what I'm thinking. And it just shorted it out because readings I do receive. If I move the throttle plate, let's see if I can do the throttle. I just moved the throttle plate. It's not oh yeah, it does, okay. You see, sensitive part of the control module is working, but the end part that actually activates throttles isn't working. So there we have it. I have to wrap this video up because it's been already 20 minutes and trying to show you all these things. Control element activation. Okay, I'll show you this real quick. I have to cycle the ignition on, off. So once ignition cycled, this is all I have. So actuations is idle speed signal, safety shut off, move throttle valve and clutches. That's all I can do. There is no programming possible. That's my point. And the module is bad. So plain, very clear that module is dead. Alright, so we'll wrap this all up, and this module has to be mailed back and replaced before you can get your car running again. That's basically my conclusion here. Alright, well, I'll send you this video and see what you think. Thank you for watching.